we work based on pattern recognition. It's fractal based, so it allows us to be able to train the system so that it understands patterns and establish that level of learning.
Hi everyone, my name's Javira. I'm Head of Partnerships and Community here at With You With Me, and I'm putting together a podcast series to showcase the amazing new partnership that we have with AntWorks. And today I have another very special guest with me who I'd like to introduce to you now, Robin Price. How are you, Robin? Thank you so much for joining me.
I'm doing well, and thank you for having me this evening.
My absolute pleasure. Robin, what we might do is actually start off, if you can introduce yourself, what your role is at the organization, and perhaps if you could then explain to us how your journey into the tech industry and why you're so passionate about it.
Sure, absolutely. Happy to do that. So again, I'm Robin Price, and I'm actually the U.S. Training Manager for AntWorks. I'm currently I'm focusing on both the U.S. as well as U.K. at this time. And back in 2008, I made the transition out of marketing, actually, and into the tech industry. And it was a way of blending my lifelong passion for technology and being able to always learn something new, because in the tech industry, there's always something.
Mm-hmm.
And then pair that with being able to take these complex ideas and help people understand these complex ideas in a simple, manageable way that can really make their lives better. And that there's always opportunities for that in this particular industry. It's wonderful.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Robin. What I'd like to now do, if we can get right into it and talk about automation. And
Sure.
Specifically then, can you talk to me and the audience about what robotics process automation is, and perhaps the benefits and or limitations for businesses?
Sure. So historically, RPA, or robotic process automation, has really been around for a long time. And it helps because it allows businesses to be able to automate different tasks that would ordinarily be routine and just mundane and take up resources throughout their organization. Examples might be simple data entry or opening different applications that might be required in a call center type environment. But when it comes to working with RPA, in order for it to be truly effective, it needs to be able to be integrated with an OCR type technology as well. And it needs to be integrated with AI or ML technology as well. And that integration can actually be very, very expensive. It has its benefits, but when it comes to standard RPA as well, it really relies on structured data. And as time progresses and we're generating more and more data just as a society, most of it's unstructured. We're winding up with things like videos and photographs and data lakes. it's not just completely structured tables. It's not that way anymore. And so we need to really be focusing on not the type of RPA or solutions that we've used in our organizations in the past, but where we're headed in the future, and how to really be able to automate processes from end to end. So really sit down and plan and consider what those in our organization are doing for us and with us, and what that beginning part of the journey looks like, and the middle and the end, and then be able to automate the end-to-end solution as well, so that it's completely comprehensive.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. One of the things that you said that actually really resonated with me, and the opportunity that I had to speak to your group CEO in the other series that I just finished speaking with, was data, and how we have so much unstructured data, so that the technology in robotic process automation can only deal with structured data and not unstructured, yes. Which leads into, I think, a very obviously exciting and unique feature that obviously AntWorks brings into the industry. Can you talk to us a little bit more? Obviously, we're hearing more about what's called intelligent automation. How is that actually different from robotic process automation?
Okay, that's a very good question. And when it comes to intelligent automation, you'll find that there are elements of AI and ML integrated into the solution itself. And it makes it possible for the solution to actually learn and get better over time. And so it reduces the amount of work that it takes when it comes to making sure that it understands what you want and what you expect, and being able to maintain it. So, for example, we have a completely integrated automation platform, a platform that permits corporations to be able to automate their journey from end to end, and it's integrated. It works together. It has the AI and ML built into it, and it makes it possible to develop that entire foundation of patterns. We work based on pattern recognition, not it's fractal based rather than based on a font library or anything like that. And so it allows us to be able to train the system so that it understands patterns that it may see, and establish that level of learning, so that what happens is over time the system is able to look at the patterns that it's been taught and teach itself new things. So consider this: as your business grows, as it starts to change, and there are variations in the patterns of the types of documents, or just well, documents, and then variations in the process as well. Because of that foundation that's taken place with the learning, the system teaches itself as well, and so it reduces the amount of time that it takes to, well, not only get up and running, but from a maintenance perspective as well.
Wow, that's fantastic. Obviously, so in terms of, in comparison to robotic process automation, you have that obviously opportunity for it to fix itself along the way, and you obviously won't get into the drama where there's problems that it'll just stop. It'll learn, keep learning, and obviously be able to fix that, sort of like you said, provide that end-to-end solution without stopping in between. So yeah, I think that really leads into the question that I have next for you, which is, a lot of people don't understand what cognitive machine reading is. Now, you may mention to some elements here, but unless you really understand the text base, if you could explain to us what CMR versus what OCR is, what is it, and what are the actual benefits?
Sure, absolutely. So when it comes to cognitive machine reading versus OCR, well, when it comes to cognitive machine reading, it doesn't rely on a font library at all. It's completely pattern based. It looks at the pattern of the pixels of whatever you may be training it. So what that means for you is it's possible to, let's say you're working with a vendor, and you're a small organization from the beginning, and you only have maybe one or two different variants in the way that data is identified and it's coming into the system. But then as your company grows, you may wind up with just more and more variations in the way that the same data set's identified, just because when you're working with others, they have their own way of doing things. They have their own way of identifying information. Well, based on the base level training that you give to the system, it looks at the new information that's coming in, and it's able to identify or learn on its own that is also associated with different data points based on what has already been taught to it. And so what that, in comparison to OCR, with OCR, every single time a variation would come in of your data set, it would need to be explicitly trained.
Right. Okay. So that's, I suppose, back in relation to sort of where you were saying the benefits of, intelligent automation versus RPA. RPA is using the OCR technology, where it actually, you need to teach it how to actually do that. Whereas intelligent automation, because it's understanding those different sets, it's being able to obviously, cognitively learn something new, understands that it's, that's not wrong. That's not an unstructured data, piece of data, that we can actually fix and resolve that to provide that solution at the end. So yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Robin, thank you so much again for joining me. I really appreciate your time. Folks, don't worry and stay tuned for the next podcast series where we go into a little bit more detail about some of the exclusive features of the AntWorks product. Thank you so much, Robin, again for joining me.
Thank you.